Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Nerdy Brigade. With me, I have
Donnie.
and
Scott.
And Brody.
welcome back all to another episode of our Global Tier List podcast. Today, we just finished up watching The Last Jedi, and we're here to give our opinions on it. So let's see who's up first. Again, remember these are raw opinions here, and these videos are meant for more podcast type formats. Obviously, because of the name. That's really all we got to go into it. And we're not movie critics either. We are random fucks. And number uno of the random fucks is Donnie. You're up first, my man.
Alright, I'm just gonna get all the nerdy nitpicks out of the way, because I'm an asshole about that shit. And it matters to me, because I'm a Star Wars nerd. No, Leia should not have been able to survive in the vacuum of space. That's just not something that happens. I don't know. I don't like it. Personally, I think that, people need to not be out there for more than like a minute and then come back in without some sort of breathing device. I just don't like that. What other stuff? Only large ships have cloaking, which is fucking absurd. But in Star Wars, that's exactly how it works. And not capital ships, but you gotta be like a fucking large-ass ship to even think about cloaking. The fact that they were able to destroy a super capital ship, a dreadnought with fucking, 5 fighters, is insane, right? Like, they should have been able to have, like, a side-by-side battle and take these things out, or use some kind of guerrilla tactics to bring one of these things down. But no, they just bombed it, and it somehow worked. I'm baffled that the ship didn't have any sort of shields against bombs, but whatever. That's that. The lightspeed thing, I really enjoy the lightspeed maneuver where they fucking launch the capital ship and the pink-haired woman sacrifices herself. I think that's really cool, and I think that's fine. I like that a lot. I mean, I could critique how these ships have autopilot, and she could have just stayed on, but I think it makes for a cool movie moment for her to sacrifice herself. Is there any more nerdy shit I want to get out of the way? Yeah. The Empire in this whole universe just kind of comes out of nowhere. And where they get the resources to build an entire planet killer, and where Snoke comes from, how he influences Kylo when he's at the Luke Temple is never explained. Where Snoke is, who he is, what's his motivation, other than being evil motherfucker. I think for the original trilogy, it's excusable, because that's just like the Empire. You know that they're a dominant force, and they're kicking ass. However, with these movies, you have the context of the original 3 movies, and that these are sequels to those movies. And when the entire Empire collapses in those movies, you kind of have to supplement it with, well, how did the First Order rise? How did the new fascists, who were literally hailing Hitler in the last movie, come to power? I think this is a really good movie to explain that. And we see Kylo's kind of journey, but we don't get to see the First Orders. That's just, you're cool, alright. They just exist. It's awesome. Any other nerdy bullshit that I want to get out of the way? No, Yoda shouldn't have, lightning as a Force ghost. It's fucking dumb as shit. I don't know. Actually, it was a cool scene. I'll forgive it. It seemed badass when he fucking burned the tree. I think if it's badass enough, just fucking forgive it. That's how I feel on these nerd critiques. Yeah. All right. Now I'm gonna actually start the review. I didn't like this movie. I just thought like it did nothing with the characters that I liked, or fucked them in some way that I didn't like. It wasn't like prequel tier shitty storytelling, but it also just didn't sit right with me. Rey was a non-character in this movie. Like, I don't know what she learned. Like, she learned that her parents were not a thing, which I guess was a conflict in the original thing. That's, I guess, why she wanted to leave Jakku. But I guess it was probably the first movie's fault for me not being invested in Rey. But she resolves that, and I'm kind of confused where she's going from here, or why that was an issue in the first place. Kylo, no, you know what? Not more than I'm thinking about it. I like Rey in this movie. She's good. I wish that Luke taught her a bit more, because she's kind of just. I mean, like, I don't want to be 2016 YouTube, but Mary Sue, am I right, boys? Ha 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 ha. I guess she's OP in this movie. I mean, I don't really think it's that much of an issue. Just wish that, there might have been something that happened with her character. Yeah. Luke, I don't like Luke at all. I think maybe it's my nerdy fanboyism, but I don't think Luke should be killing Kylo, or even think about killing Kylo. I mean, his whole arc at the end of The Last Jedi, or not The Last Jedi, Return of the Jedi, was that no matter how evil someone is, they can still be redeemed. And kind of throws that away when he confronts Ben and turns on his lightsaber. I mean, to think about killing your own nephew, that's like a deep fall. And kind of feels like between this movie and Return of the Jedi, I didn't see anything about Luke where he's like dumbass and does that shit. Like, what leads him down that path? It didn't make any sense to me. Finn, I think, just gets cucked in this movie. I mean, I know he should be with Poe in my heart of hearts, but even then, like, the usefulness of Finn is just non-existent. He does nothing in this movie. His whole tangent is literally exists to be fucked over. And I think that's so weird to do in a movie. Like, just have an entire plot sequence and then pull the rug out from under you and be like, haha, get it? It didn't matter. I'm like, okay, cool. I thought the casino planet was dumb. It was like, oh, ha ha ha. People profit off of war in Star Wars. And I'm like, I don't want to know that. All right. I mean, for me, I feel like Star Wars should be a little more black and white morality. But this was kind of like ham-fisted. Whoa, rich people fuck around with everybody. And like, war is a profiting business. And I'm like, bitch, don't you know the means of production are held by the state in a fascistic order? And I'm like, I don't know. But whatever. It's fine, I guess. It's like, it just feels so ham-fisted, like rich people bad, also rich people are anti-vegan, which means we need to destroy them all. I don't know. I think the slave kids are dumb, and I don't understand why they end the movie on that. I don't understand why Rose sacrifices herself in the fucking laser beam. Because, I mean, if Finn did that, they would just be safe, right? I assume. But then no one was coming to save them, so they'd eventually get through, I guess. So in the end, I guess Rose did a good thing. I mean, for her plan to make sense, she would have to be like, huh, I bet everyone in the galaxy will give up hope. And that's my plan. We're just gonna give up on everyone. And then that's the movie. I don't get it. I don't get a lot of this movie. I don't see where it's headed. The whole Poe thing, I think, didn't make sense. I'm just left kind of confused and weirded out. Yeah. I don't know what I'm supposed to learn from this movie. I like Snoke, but I don't know what his deal is. Where did he come from? What's his motivation? I get it, like he's a bad guy, but like at least in the originals we had something to kind of support that. With this, you're like a sequel to the originals, so I kind of need what's his deal, you know? He's a Sith Lord, where'd he come from? I mean, he can just kind of sprout up out of nowhere, but I guess a sigh is the best I have for this movie. I think the pew pew is limited. They don't even have the Star Wars aesthetic down enough for me. I thought the Kylo Ren Rey stuff was pretty cool, where they were fighting the red people. Kind of weird they were fighting with anal beads. Wasn't my favorite Star Wars designs ever, but pretty good. I feel like they just stole the Dreadnought from Empire, and I was like, that was okay. I feel like we could have done better with a Dorito than a cannon. But for a conflict that's primarily based on a space battle. But yeah, that's what we got. I feel like aesthetically it's lacking Star Wars-y-ness. I thought the Yoda scene was good. I'm just feeling like, I was kind of bored during this movie. Probably a C tier, honestly. Really? C tier? I don't know. I am a little conflicted on my decision, but goddamn, was it worse than King of Monsters? I guess we just have we have such a high bar for, or low bar for bad movie. Definitely can't put it above Shark Tales. Shark Tale. That's kind of fuck over my man Poe a lot. At least this movie kind of went somewhere. I didn't think it was as bad as Hancock, but didn't have like the shittiestness of it. Still just felt like confused and boring to me. I don't know, that's where I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna pass it to Tyler. I want to hear his opinion on it.
God, dude, I'm a little scared, honestly, that you pass it to me next, man, because I don't even know how I feel about this movie. I am like, so much happens in this film, but also at the same time, I am left so fucking confused as to what the hell I just watched, honestly. I can 100%, without a doubt, see why this is, like, known as, like, one of the most controversial Star Wars films ever made. Because there are so many things that are thrown out there. I feel like people can grasp onto certain things and like get like a real kick out of it, and then there are a bunch of other shit that people can grasp onto that is just really bad or like just poorly explained. And yeah, God, there's so much that happens. All right, so alright, let's talk about the characters first, because I think that's probably the most important thing. So first and foremost, probably the most controversial character in this film is Luke. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't hate the idea of Luke, like, being, like, yes, if we're talking about Luke at the end of Return of the Jedi, yes, he would never ever have, like, turned out like this in theory, I suppose. I don't know. This is a very different and older Luke, honestly. And I like the idea that he's just like, that he thinks that he fucked up, he knows that he fucked up, and that he's run away from it all. But also, he took Kylo Ren. He's at the planet with the Jedi Temple, and Kylo Ren killed everybody at the Jedi Temple. But also in the first movie, nobody knew about the location of Luke. He's still at the same place that Kylo Ren betrayed him in the first place, right? Maybe? I don't know.
I don't think they explain where the Jedi Temple is.
Oh, who cares? Anyways,
I think it's on a different... it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, fuck it. Anyways. Regardless, I don't hate Luke in this movie. I think he's fine for the most part. I like the idea. I think it would have been really, really lame if he was just, like, another mentor character in Star Wars, because we've had, like, 3 of that in a row. But I don't think his and Rey's relationship is done 100% fully, because Rey kind of just comes to Luke, and then she doesn't learn really all that much, and then she goes off, and then she faces some other bullshit, and she makes a decision on her own. And I think that is, like, a cool idea that, like, instead of Luke teaching Rey, like, how to be, like, a Jedi, like, Rey helps, like, spark back some humanity and hope back in Luke. Kind of like a reverse teaching thing. And I think that's a cool idea on paper, honestly. And to a certain degree, I think it's even done very well. It's just that, unfortunately, I don't find Rey to be that interesting of a character. So it kind of makes me hard to believe. And I think that's, like, the biggest problem. I don't think Luke's actually that big of an issue in this film. I like the idea that, you know, he's not the hero he used to be anymore. Like, he got a bit egotistical, and he fucked up a lot, and he just kind of, I mean, if I saved the universe, I'd probably get a little in my head, too, and change over the period of time, honestly. And, like, to me, it's fine. I don't hate Luke at all. I think his arc worked out very well, especially because of his final quote-unquote fight scene with Kylo Ren. And I think it works out. I didn't think he would need to die. Honestly, I think he could have done a little bit more in a future film for, like, redemption, but because I think it would have just been a very cool moment if he put a force projection and then he helped the rest of the rebellion. But I get the entire point of the third film is that Rey needs to save the day, and Luke can't be around. And, like, that's cool and all, but, you know, like, of course we like Luke. Like, that's just my general perspective. Like, Rey felt like a really nothing character in the first movie. She just felt like she was so there. And in this movie, we have her not learn anything from Luke all that much, and then go off and fight. So it feels like her character development just still hasn't gone anywhere, unfortunately. And the idea that her parents are nobodies and that being, like, a big problem is, like, well, 2 things. I understand the idea is that in Star Wars, like, everybody who's important is, like, related to somebody. Like, Leia's related to Luke, and then Kylo Ren's the son of Leia and Han, and, like, everybody who's important is related to somebody. But it kind of gets thrown out the window, because I know she's a Palpatine in the next movie. It's, like, the one thing I know about her. So the scene's really fucking weird. But in a vacuum, in this movie, that's kind of a cool twist, I suppose, but it is not built upon enough. We know Rey is thinking about her parents, but we don't know what she was thinking about her parents for. Was she seeking their affection? Did she want them to be somebody important? Did she want, like, we don't know what she wanted. She just said, I want to know what happened to my, like, not even, I don't know what happened to my parents. She's like, I know behind this glass is my parents, or something like that. And it's just not engaging of an arc in the slightest, because it kind of feels like it's out of nowhere. Like, yeah, she says that in the beginning, that she's, like, a loner in the first film, but that's not, I didn't think that was going to be her major character arc, was her worrying about her parents. Like, parents don't usually mean all that much in Star Wars. I mean, fuck, Luke's parents die immediately, and then the rest of the films act like they don't exist for the most part. So I was very confused with Rey, and I didn't enjoy her all that much, which by vice versa, the fact that she's the main character that Luke interacted with, I didn't enjoy Luke all that much. Even though I think Luke is actually fine in a vacuum. I think Finn is shafted really hard. Donnie summarized it really well, that his entire subplot is fucking pointless. He goes off, gets the Codebreaker guy, the Codebreaker guy sells them out, and then he leaves the plot. He's just fucking gone. No resolution. And then Finn doesn't do anything heroic, and the movie just ends. Like, what the fuck was Finn doing in this movie? He didn't do anything. And I can't talk about Finn without talking about Rose, and I don't hate her, honestly. Like, I think she's doing, like, a fine job, and I think her especially, I like the first meeting quite a fair bit. I think it's kind of funny. But I don't understand, like, they're obviously, like, in a closer relationship, and she is, like, trying to teach Finn that people profit off of war, and that war is bad, maybe? Maybe that's the character arc they're going for? But Finn already fucking knows this! He's the ex-soldier! He's the one who quit the Empire because he thought they were bad! Why would he need this sort of arc, honestly? I don't get it. I really don't get what Finn is doing in this movie, and it's so disappointing because his subplot contributes to nothing, and then Rose stops him from doing something impactful in the final battle. And can I mention, Rose fucking ramming her ship into his is the dumbest shit in the world. Y'all could have definitely both died when she did that. Second of all, what the fuck was the plan? If Finn didn't sacrifice himself, everyone was gonna die. Like, I mean, I know y'all were fucked anyways, but at the very least his sacrifice would have bought time or some shit. I guess. I don't know. I don't really get what she was thinking there. I don't, like, at least if I thought Finn dying there would have sucked because he was really worthless in this film, but at least they let him do something. And then that's just how it ends, sort of. I don't get it. Finn is just completely wasted in this film. I like Poe because I feel like I like it when he was pulling that coup on the purple-haired lady, and like he was really doing what he was trying to do best for the entire ship. I thought that was a really cool moment, honestly. And I liked how he had like a bunch of buddies on his side and shit. But that entire thing is wasted because Poe didn't need to do any of that because they already had a fucking plan. And the only reason why they knew to destroy the goddamn cargo ships is because the Codebreaker told them. And why the fuck did the Codebreaker know that? He wasn't a part of that. How would he know the purple hair lady's strategy? Because she didn't even fucking tell it to Poe for some reason. I don't know why she didn't tell it to Poe. She should have just told it to fucking Poe. I don't understand how they knew to shoot the cargo ships, because the guy was like, I sold you out a little bit, like, not just about it.
Said to them over radio, said to Finn, and he was within earshot.
That's bullshit. No, wait, what the
Still bullshit.
Okay, for the record, the last time they talked to each other was when they were just getting captured, and they had the radio thing, so I guess the guy was also like... What? No, that doesn't make any sense! When would they have heard that? Leia, when she came in with Poe, she immediately knocked him out. And then what? Did he just happen to have his earbud piece on him when they talked about the strategy? That's so fucking... Because he wouldn't know about...
Yeah, because Poe didn't know about the cloaked ships.
No, Poe knew they were abandoning ships, so he told Finn to hurry up because they were abandoning ships.
So Finn... Okay, so Poe...
But he didn't know about the cloaked ships.
Yeah, no,
if he said like they're...
That didn't really matter.
I think...
So, like...
Listen, let me say it. So, Poe told Finn that he's doing the coup shit, and that he needs to do it now because they're gonna try to log off the ships and go. But that is information Finn knew, not the Codebreaker. He's the one who sold them out. So why the fuck did they know about the cargo ships? It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. There's no way he should have known that information. Okay. Second of all,
Weren't they talking about it on like the telephone comm thing?
They didn't know. Finn and his entire party, including Poe, the only person who know about the cloaked ship plan was the purple-haired lady, and she hardly told anybody else on board.
Yeah, you're right.
So they did not know. They did this entire thing to try and destroy the tracking device so that they could escape. Because they thought that was the only way out. And apparently the Codebreaker knew about that, and then he told them, and then he showed them the cloaked ships, or whatever, and then they started shooting them down. Which is fucking ridiculous, and it really doesn't make any sort of sense. Sorry, I went off on a huge tangent there, but I'm trying to tell you guys that this film's plot doesn't make much sense, honestly. I feel like a lot of characters are either just wasted in this film, because again, I like the idea of Poe doing what he does, but he honestly doesn't amount to... He does one cool action scene at the beginning of the film, and then for the rest of the film, he's just kind of doing stuff that you think might be cool, but then it gets completely wasted because the entire fucking plan, the whole reason why they go to the casino planet, the whole reason why they get the Codebreaker, the whole reason why we have all those action sequences and them sneaking on the ship is completely wasted because it doesn't work out. And I get it. It fails, so like there's tension or whatever, but it also wastes like 30 minutes of the film, 40 minutes of the film. And it makes a lot of the characters feel very pointless anyways, because they totally could have just sent a fucking ship into hyperspeed into the enemy ship at the very beginning. Like, if they had no other option and they were really getting tagged that far from behind, why not just... Like, why not the people who already knew that they were the only ones on the ship, like, staying behind to pilot it, why didn't they do that? I guess because maybe they didn't have enough time to turn around to do it, but oh my god, dude, it is really stupid. Like, just drive it, like, just have somebody, one person, I mean, there's already a bunch of people who are willing to die for the rebellion, just have one person, like, who's, like, on one of the further support ships or whatever, like, turn around the center of the enemy ship and fucking yoink it. Boom. The entire enemy fleet and the Supreme Leader is dead. But instead, they just twiddle their fucking thumbs, and then somehow the enemies figure out the plan or whatever. It's so goddamn stupid. And, like, they never explained, by the way, how they are tracking them at light speed. Like, what the fuck was that all about? Like, they had, like, a tracky McTrack device at the front? Jesus.
I don't know. It's like, it's Star Wars bullshit. I mean, I'm glad to see that they have some kind of technological development in the movies.
Okay. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm getting on. But I'm just trying to explain that this film left me baffled. Because there was so much shit happening. So much stuff goes on in this movie, and a lot of it is either pointless, or just is very confusing. Like, I don't understand the message of this film. I don't understand its meaning all that much. Because Kylo Ren is, like, so goddamn confusing with what he wants his character arc to be, until, like, he's, like, finally, like, I'm in charge now, and I'm gonna kill them all, I'm gonna kill the past, because Luke tried to kill me. Like, you know what, I don't even hate Kylo Ren. I actually think he's honestly probably one of the better parts of this entire film. Like, I think Snoke is, like, really fucking lame. He's just Palpatine. And he even does the fucking thing where he's like, ooh, look at your rebellion getting blown up. He's literally just a Palpatine. And I didn't even fucking like Palpatine in Return of the Jedi. I thought he was also lame as fuck. So Snoke was, like, doubly lame as fuck. Like, he just wasn't that interesting. I'm glad he dies. I think that was the best thing. One of the best things that this film does is just kill him off like that. I like the fight scene between Kylo and Rey. I'm not the biggest fan of Star Wars choreography, because I've never been a fan of, like, the fucking stupid twirly Fire Emblem crit animations that everybody does with their weapons all the fucking time, but I think there's a lot of creative stuff in that fight scene that isn't just twirling their weapons around or doing ninja flips. So I'll actually give them some credit for that. I think that fight scene at the top of Snoke's tower is really good. But again, this film is, like, so fucking long. It is so long. We have a bunch of shit contributing to a plot development that does nothing. Like, what the hell do Finn and Rose gain from going to the casino? And, like, what, does Finn realize that, like, people profit from war? I can guarantee you Finn would have been fine with sacrificing his life to destroy that cannon if they didn't go to the fucking casino planet. Like, what the hell? Like, I get he was, like, cowarding out at the beginning of this film, but it doesn't even make sense for him to be cowarding out at the beginning of this film. Like, he had gained the strength to try and go rescue Rey no matter what in the last movie, and now he's just like wussing out. I don't get it, honestly. Like, so much of this film, this is the longest Star Wars film in the series, and it doesn't need to be like that. And it is baffling, honestly. I don't understand. There's just so much annoying shit. Like, the characters are wasted for the most part. The only I think, like, Kylo Ren and Luke are probably the best characters in the entire movie. But another thing that pisses me off is that this film has, like, 2 different climaxes. Because you have the battle atop of Snoke's area, and then it just sort of ends with them blowing up the lightsaber with their Force shit, and then Rey gets away off-screen as a fucking ship goes hyperspeed through the entire thing. And then there's another final battle with Luke on the ice planet fighting against Kylo. Like, it's so long, honestly. And if there was ever a film that, like, I understand what people say when they think Rey is, like, a Mary Sue type character. Because her coming to Luke and then Yoda himself being like, oh, you couldn't teach her anything anyway, she already knows everything. That's very stupid, man. Like, come on. Like, even the strongest characters in Star Wars history had to be taught something about the Force. Like, and all Luke does is, like, have her sit on a rock and then she immediately 100% understands it. Like, that's really, like, that is Mary Sue shit to an extreme. And I understand it's because Luke's character arc is the reverse of the typical mentor format, and, like, I get it. But Rey is really fucking boring, and I don't find her engaging in any way, shape, or form, because she doesn't really have a character arc, and everybody else is sort of just wasted. It's really annoying. Sorry, I'm talking like a little bitch baby right now. But, man, there's just so much about this film that just fucking irks me off, dude. Like, I feel like I could rant about it for... I can see why people have made an entire YouTube career about ranting about this film. Because holy shit. There's so much stuff that is potentially wrong with it. Mostly because of its godforsaken length and how much they crammed into this son of a bitch. But whatever. I'm done ranting about the plot. I'm done ranting about the stupid nerdy shit. Just, like... in general... I want to say that Last Jedi is a very, very bloated film. A lot happens in it, but a lot of it is just wasted fluff, or poorly done character arcs, or poorly done... I don't even say want a poorly done action, but... Actually, the action is probably some of the best, more consistent, better consistent things in this film. I just think that this movie has very poor plotting. I think it's unnecessarily confusing. I think the character arcs are either muddled or not being very able to my fucking English. I think the character arcs themselves are either just completely muddled, non-existent, or are very confusing on what they're trying to convey. I think our central protagonist is still boring in this film, and I feel like she doesn't change all that much, even though the entire point of going to Luke's area was to change, in a way. I just find this movie to be pretty bad, honestly. I think the fact that 90% of this film happens... Like... When Donnie said that he feels like the lack of the Star Wars energy, I didn't really start to feel it until, like, we really... Like, so much of this movie is just watching the big ship follow the little ship. And it's really boring after a while. And then, I mean, not saying there aren't cool aesthetical shots in this film. The entirety of Luke's final fight with Kylo Ren is some of the coolest looking shit the entire film. I like the Kylo Ren and Rey fight on Smoke's area. Like, there's cool stuff in it. It's a modern Disney film. There's gonna be cool aesthetical stuff. But it's not enough, man. This is definitely a bad one. This isn't like the worst Star Wars film ever made. Because even though I am utterly baffled and confused, like, the prequels are still even more boring, and still, like, even less happens in them. And, like, yeah, I don't like this movie at all, for the most part. And I can see what people do enjoy about it. There are enjoyable qualities about Last Jedi. I'm not gonna act like there isn't, but it's not enough, in my opinion. Like, at all. As for placement, this shit, God, I don't know, man. I'm in a hard place on placement, honestly. At the very least, I know I'm placing this below Godzilla 1997, but the problem is how much lower do I place it? I think After Earth... All right. I don't want to talk anymore because I've been talking for so goddamn long, and I want to give other people a shot. But my general consensus is that I'll put it below Godzilla 1997, but be 100% that I am willing to drop it lower. But I want to save that for the four-person discussion. Okay? I'm sorry for taking so long. I'm sorry for ranting for so long. Brody, you can go next. I apologize.
Sorry. Yeah, I think this is I don't know. It's weird. This movie is weird. It feels long, but there's so much crap crammed into it. And I think the main problem with it is the spacing. You have long, boring shit like the part where it's just switching between spaceship chase and the island, and that takes up a decent amount. Not that there isn't any like exposition there. There's some, but like I feel like they cram way too much into the end of the movie. A lot of it. And to clear up one thing, I am pretty sure that the hacker guy knew where the knew that the escape pods had been launched, and so because of Poe telling them that if they didn't hurry up, the escape pods would be launched. So he relayed that information to the Empire, which then scanned for little ships, but they were supposed to be cloaked, I guess. I don't know. It's confusing. This whole movie is kind of confusing.
Okay, yeah, but Finn would only know that information. Why would the hacker guy know that information?
Because it wasn't like a little headset microphone. It was just a speaker and a microphone.
Oh
so,
my
like,
god, that is
everyone
such
in
a
the general
stupid
vicinity could hear
detail to
it.
explain that. Jesus.
It is it is entirely stupid, and I get how you could mistake that. It's not even like a big thing, but oh my god, it's just so stupid that they would expect people to like fucking do the not really gymnastics, but like figure that out on their own, you know? It's weird. And like, oh my fucking god. I do agree. Finn's character in this movie is just fucking like they had such a good thing going with him being the hero, and I do not like Tyler. I do not know why he would all of a sudden want to chicken out. I get, the situation's dire, and he sees that, and he's just woken up, and there's like I guess less people or whatever. But like Jesus Christ, didn't he learn like that? You gotta stick up for whatever. And I think that's what Rose is trying to accomplish. Like you gotta stick with your movement. And the hacker guy's like, oh, but people profit off of war, so it's like every man for himself sort of deal. But then he turns out to be the bad guy, so it's supposed to be a lesson or something. I don't know, but it's just so fucking like the fighting shit's cool. It's awesome. The designs of the new stuff we get to see in this movie, and the redesigns of old stuff, like the new AT-AT whatevers. I mean, those are cool, but like we haven't seen these little cool speeders before with the ski. That's also like fucking awesome. I like the scene where projected Luke buys time for the rebellion. That's kind of neat, I thought. Yeah, I want to keep this short though, because like, I don't really have, much to say. I'm definitely leaving stuff out that I mean to say, but this movie overall, I'm just gonna say overall, this movie is, I'd say it's kind of like they don't know where to go from the last one, and it's just a confused mess. A beautiful one at that, but confused mess. That being said, I would place it probably. I don't know. I'd say right under Aladdin in C, so like mid C, because as this movie is confusing, it's not horrible. You know, I enjoyed this. This was good. But that being said, I did not enjoy the giant dump of like all this shit. Like, whoa, Princess Leia can fucking use the Force fly in space and survive, and whoa, just all the exposition that you needed from the last two films. Here it is. I don't like that. I don't really like that at all. I feel this was sort of kind of like not rushed. I can't find the word for it, but it just felt kind of like, I don't know. It's a weird fucking movie. But yeah, that's where I'd place it. Scott?
Oh, Jesus, fuck, people. Alright, I don't really have much to argue. What's been said is fair. There's a lot in this movie. I remembered the salt planet, like red planet fight scene at the end, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's in this movie, but I feel like we've been watching this movie for like 2 hours and we're not even close to that yet. This movie is like fucking all over the place, which we've already like talked about. The plot is very muddy, very uncertain. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like a shit ton is crammed into this movie, and none of it really comes out super well. It's all kind of like mucked up by itself, which is too bad because this movie definitely could have been some good development. And the pacing is also like fucked because sometimes it moves. So like the Rey being on the like Luke's whatever planet for like hours. It feels like it takes so fucking long. And like the scene where they're just running away from the Star Destroyers literally starts at the beginning of the movie and goes until like 20 minutes from the end. And then all of a sudden at 20 minutes from the end, boom, we're on like this salt planet with this epic final battle. Like, interesting. As far as characters, I think they're all rushed. They're not given time to do the things that they need to do. And they're all very, like, they don't have much direction in the first place. Like I said, Rey is just kind of fucked off for the entire movie, not really doing anything. Finn and Rose, I mean, I guess, but, like, they didn't really need to do that. I do like the Codebreaker character. He doesn't make a ton of sense. And he kind of just like same as all the other characters. He shows up, fucks some shit up, then leaves, and he's kind of supposed to convey a message, but he doesn't really. I do like that guy, but he just suffers so hard from the plot moving at a breakneck speed. I do not really like Snoke because he's just a carbon copy of Palpatine, but with even less connection to the movie. This might be, well, not for this movie, but for the series in general, I do really like Kylo. I like how angry he is, and I like his kind of like tormented, like, he's fucking ripping himself apart on the inside and he's trying to cover it up and be like the Sith Lord and live up to Darth Vader. But he's like struggling inside. He is fighting for God knows what. And you can see, I mean, not only is he like trying to be the big Sith Lord, but you can see the entire time, anytime he's on screen, he's just fighting with himself. And I think that's actually quite well done. As well as, I love Kylo Ren when he pulls out his lightsaber. I think the way he fights is so cool. He just like looks so pissed off and like I don't know. I think he's quite good. In the last movie, he had a bit of a slow start, but by the end, I think he was pretty good too. So I like Kylo Ren. I think he's pretty good. Definitely the best character in this movie for sure. But beyond that, I don't have much else to say. I agree with all the things Donnie said about like the aesthetics being like there, but not super impressive. I agree with Tyler's whole spiel about the plot holes and the shitty plot that is quite reminiscent of maybe Attack of the Clones. Like it has a direction, but it is like all over the place. Yeah, that's about all I got. So, I think I would put this bottom C. Maybe top of D. Bottom C or top of D. It's a moot point. Just that area. that's the opinion.
What? Was this not what you said?
Huh?
Was this not what you said?
I mean, technically, I said bottom C, but
Bottom C, top of D.
yeah,
I also whatever. Here, look there. Does that make you happy?
yeah, it makes C tier look. Dude, we got. Never mind.
Makes a little thickums.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about something that I didn't talk about in my review.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
For a
sure.
second. Luke dies like a fucking bitch.
I'm fine with it.
I think that it's cool how he gets to see the two sons, and then he kind of like dies like that. But I think the death scene is cool. I just don't think him doing that is. I don't know. I don't feel like that's a satisfying conclusion to Luke.
I agree with you. Because here's the thing, he needed to be out of this movie. He needed to, because it's the race show for the third one. You know what I mean? To like finish the
I
job.
think that's hardly the biggest grievance with this movie, though.
Yeah, I know. Luke dying kind of like a bitch is like, that's not the problem. There are so many.
I just wanted to. It was just something that I forgot.
Yeah, no. God, dude. Honestly, I am flabbergasted that I am like the person who hates this film the most. Honestly, like for me, a lot of it is not even because of like nerdy Star Wars shit. Like I just fucking don't like the plot of this movie like at all, and I don't like any of the characters. I feel like the aesthetics are. I don't remember a single soundtrack in this entire film. Like my two.
It had made the Force be with you when Luke died. So I mean, at least there's that.
Like for me, the best fucking. And the two best scenes were just fight scenes. And both of them, and I agree with you, Kylo Ren is the best part of this film, honestly. He probably is. He's in the best two fight scenes. He just does the most, honestly, out of like a majority of the characters. And I mean that's cool. I like Kylo a fair bit, but like he's like the only character that like I really enjoy. Everybody else is so fucking muddy. And
Absolutely.
And honestly, like having like I don't know, because like I guess on like a like King of Monsters on a theoretical level, King of Monsters is kind of like a garbage film from like a character perspective, and even from a plot perspective. But it has so much like visual, like amazingness to it that it puts it up to C tier, like on sheer value alone. But that's all it's getting. It will never, ever, ever reach above, and that's only because the fight scenes are cool in that film. But to be honest with you, there are only like 2 fight scenes that I really like in this movie, and the movie is so fucking long. Like King of Monsters felt like it took forever because that film was lagging like crazy for us, but this one is actually like a fucking. It's so long, and so much of it is so pointless. I don't like.
I feel like they took so long to just dick us around for the entire movie.
I know there was like 80% of anything the characters did. Like you could have cut out Rey, Finn, and Rose. Just had Poe fuck around with the rest of the rebellion, and the movie would have had the same impact.
Oh, Tyler said this. I can't believe I forgot this out of my review. The space shit is so boring. It's one-dimensional and it's garbage. Having
although when
it's dumb.
When
Oh.
the chick launches the spaceship through the other spaceship, I thought that was cool as shit.
That is cool.
But
Yeah, I like that.
thank God that was the conclusion rather than it just getting like blown out of the sky, because that would have been just like, well, fuck this whole movie then.
Right.
I know, but like the spaceship is so boring. It's so boring.
Yes.
How did they fuck up space in Star Wars? Like, goddamn. Force Awakens was so good with its space battles and shit like that, and pew pews and.
I know.
Oh, Johnny, you said it while the movie was happening too. But at the beginning, the bombers. I know you did it on the nerd shit, but the bombers that are just literally like
Oh,
a
those are
million tons of bombs just sitting there driving at 2 miles an hour. Like, nice.
Wait, there's something else I wanted to say.
Open to the vacuum of space. as
Yeah,
well.
I know.
Like,
One TIE fighter killed 3 of those ships.
Yeah, because they just launched shrapnel into each other and then fucking exploded.
I don't even care about like that nerdy shit or whatever. Like as much as the beginning part might not make sense, at least it is like visually active. You know what I mean? Like I don't hate the first scene at all in this film. I actually find it's probably one of the better scenes of the entire movie. It's just everything afterwards. Like as soon as the fucking fleet tracks the ship, like that is when shit really starts going downhill for me, because we have a useless side character arc with Finn and Rose, which is like completely unnecessary. Rose is such a weird character arc to give Finn, because it just doesn't fit in any way, shape, or form to have the, like, fucking ex-child soldier being told that war is, like, kind of bad. Or...
Yeah, and it's like, oh, sorry, you shouldn't... Like, it gives this weird nihilistic tone to someone who should be very idealistic. Like, Finn should be very angry about what happened, and...
But like, what's even the message? What's even the message? Because the Codebreaker guy is like all matter of fact about it. He's pretty nihilistic about the entire situation, but he kind of gets out of it the best. And
Well, and I saw him like in the starship like selling them out, and I was like thinking in my head like, okay, I swear I remembered him like going behind the Imperial's back and like doing something, like actually having something to do with something.
But no,
And
he
just-
leaves.
And then he just didn't, and I was like,
same here,
well,
Scott.
well-
It was actually.
I know I could have sworn I remembered that from the other movie, and I
it's
liked
like
the
you
guy,
fucked
but
with
like,
it.
What
Why
is
are
the
you
mean-
here?
What is the purpose? I don't get it. I'm so fucking confused. Like, I don't... Like, here's the thing. You can have, like, a simple idea. Like, Vader being turned to the light side. Like, that's theoretically simple. And I even knocked Return of the Jedi, because I found some of the dialogue too simplistic. But, but here, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't know what Finn is feeling. I don't know what he's thinking. Because a large portion of the shit that happens in this movie is, like, other people just spouting random shit at him. Like, Rose is like, oh, look at these fucking horses being tortured. Look at these rich people. They make money off the war. And then this other guy's like, well, actually, the rich people make money for the other guys, too. Like, why does any of this matter to Finn? Like, what does he get from this? Like, what? Like, I don't get it. And then Rose, like, fucking trashes herself into Finn's ship, and then she gives him, like, she says some sort of speech before they kiss. And, like, the way she says it, it's like some sort of impactful thing that we've already heard before, but now it's being said in, like, a more intense tone, or, like, a more, like, somber tone, but, like, it's just some random bullshit she pulled out of her ass, and then they're like, kiss me, you fool. Like, why did she think that everything... Like, maybe, you know, she probably didn't think that everything was gonna be okay. It's just so weird. Like, what is the point?
Also, it just goes to show how useless that Codebreaker character was. When
He did nothing.
Like, after the spaceship gets, like, you know, hyperspace through the other spaceship, he literally disappears into thin air.
Yeah, no, he's not anywhere. Like, what happened? I'm so confused. And also, why did Finn have to have his climactic battle with, like, the Stormtrooper Commander girl in this film? Like, shouldn't that have
that should
been...
be like the final episode.
No, that should have been in the first movie. Or... Because, like, here, it's so out of...
Like, imagine they have an actual arc for Finn, and then it's like realizing everything that he's trained for and fighting the establishment and then fucking up the stormtrooper.
Like, I wanted Finn... Like, I like the idea of him finally beating his boss there. But it's so out of nowhere. Like, she just shows up and she's like, guess what, bitch? I'm on this ship too, I guess. Finn, now let us, like... Like, it's so matter of fact. Like, it's just like circumstance that he gets to have his climactic battle. Like, it's really weird to me. It leaves no impact, even though she actually has the better. Like, I think her death in this film is probably one of the better villain deaths. I actually think where the fuck his name is, weird butthole Palpatine man. His death scene's also kind of funny too. But God, like I think her death scene is better than the death scene of the villain from fucking Rogue One, because he kind of just like gets lasered off screen, by the giant Death Star machine, and that's all right. But it's whatever, because it just feels so like I can't believe Finn beats his like main antagonist for the films, and I feel nothing because it literally was by circumstance, and Finn's character arc for this entire film had nothing to do with his relationship with her. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't like this movie. I do not think this film belongs in C tier at all because it has too few action scenes for me to truly rate it in like a C tier purely off of that, and the story is too mucky and it is too goddamn long for me to put this in C tier. This absolutely belongs in D, but no lower.
It's so boring.
It is so fucking boring.
I was on my phone for a lot of it.
I'm fucking playing Fire Emblem Heroes.
Yeah.
And I was still paying, you know, I deafened myself for this film because I was sick and tired of y'all making shit. I just wanted to hear the movie. And I got bored.
We did do a lot of my balls jokes, so it's bad. It got bad.
That's how you know it's like a subpar movie.
Yeah, no, this absolutely belongs in D tier for me, unfortunately.
I don't think it's bad as Hancock. Like, I don't know if I could...
Dude, Hancock is kind of works, though, for like half of it. This film, like, doesn't work for, like, except for, like, 2 action sequences. Everything else is, like, a muddled mess from a plot perspective, from an aesthetic perspective, and from a character perspective. Like, so little of this movie works, man.
Oh, but then, like, Bright? Fuck.
You know what, Donnie? I've been thinking about this, too. I have changed my opinion. I'm fine with switching Bright and Godzilla 1997, and putting this film lower than Bright.
Oh, I mean, I am resident thinking this film is okay, so...
No, I've changed my opinion. Even as somebody who likes Bright, I think
I can switch them. I don't really care.
I'm fine with that. But my staple is that you put Last Jedi below Bright.
Below Bright?
Yes.
What the fuck? I don't think it... I just think there's just so much...
Alright, fine, above Bright. Either way, it is in that area, man. Like,
yeah.
It is in that area.
I agree.
I'll put it above Bright. That's fine with me. It is not as...
I just think The Last Jedi did not mishandle racism in this movie.
Mishandled a lot of shit.
But not racism.
Oh
which
my
is
Not racist.
Yeah,
I guess that's where it should go. I mean, I think it should be above Godzilla 19.
No, Godzilla 1997 is way too... No, there's no way. It's...
Too awesome and gamer.
No, I mean, that film fucks up in, like, so many other ways, but it's not... with the primary fact that it's not really a Godzilla movie, it's just... But...
I don't know, I just like the 90s energy in that movie.
I think it's much more consistent. I just hate that film from an aesthetical purpose, and I think that's, like, my biggest gripe with it. Like, if you get
a shitty Godzilla.
Like, if you get the Godzilla wrong, if he's like some weird tripedal fucking, I don't know what the hell he's supposed to be in that film, but like terrible CGI, he doesn't even breathe any breath. He just kind of like, he's weird. I don't like him.
He kind of walks around in New York.
He gets killed by like regular ass missiles or some shit too. He's like, oh, I can't. Oh, like he's so boring. I hate that fucking. Anyways, but you know, I don't know. That's my current placement. Is there any other disagreements on it?
Scott.
It's okay.
Alright. Now, could I say one last thing? How in the fuck is the Skywalker film worse than this?
It's bad.
How?
It's so...
Remember all the arcs that were set up in this movie?
But there weren't. Wait, Donnie, I don't...
No, it's so, like, unsatisfying of an ending. It's like, well, fuck you, I didn't want any of that.
How is it possible? I'm flabbergasted, man.
I don't even think it's badly done. It's just stupid.
It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be real bad.
Alright, well...
This isn't, by the way, Tyler, this isn't the one they say is the worst, it's the next one.
You know, I know Solo's next up, and Solo's fine.
No, wait, no, I mean the last one.
Yeah, I know the Skywalker film, the very last Star Wars film we're watching, is really fucking bad.
Oh yeah, baby.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, so that is all we really got to say. Sorry, this one went on for way longer than Rogue One because man, we had a lot of complaining to do, and there's just a lot of shit in this film. But next time up, it's gonna be Solo, everybody. So see y'all for that then. Bye.
Goodbye, boys.